Today my mission for this video is very simple but not easy at all. I'm looking for ambitious people that consider themselves entrepreneurs. So a few years ago, I was in university. I had a regular job. I was on a regular, you could say a regular life like most other people. And then I dropped out of university, gave up my regular job to pursue my own dream, my own ambitions as an entrepreneur, and that's when I opened Old Crow's Classic Cars. Now, today, you've probably seen videos on YouTube where people are the stupid commercials where some rich guy is saying that you can get $100,000 a day, and it's about a course, and you can take this course and learn how he does it. This is not one of those videos. I honestly believe that that's just a big heap of crap. Today I'm actually here. I have three major companies today, and as well as a few other small side businesses. Old Crow's Classic Cars, a trucking company, and a real estate construction company. And this video is about, I'm looking for people that would actually join this. This is not for next year, this is right away. May 1st, I'm going to be at the property starting construction. We've already started some construction, but it's actually the project's official start date is going to be May 1st. That's when we actually start working towards building the main building. And this video is I'm going to tell you a bit of my background about the business and how the business can help you and how you can join the business and how it can be beneficial to you as well as to everybody in the team. Right, so first of all, what is an entrepreneur? For me, my definition of an entrepreneur is somebody that's always looking for opportunities. There's a reason why only 1% of the population owns about 90% of the riches. And when I worked in construction, I just worked a regular construction jobs years ago. And a lot of times I'd get people complaining and guys, during lunchtime talking about how unfair the world is and how unfair it is that just few people own the vast majority of riches. And I've come to realize that actually the world is more fair than it seems. You see, it's usually only that 1% of people that actually have ambition and the willingness, the persistence to pursue it, the determination to follow through a plan, even though everybody thinks they're crazy. They can actually think outside the box and they're willing to sacrifice. That's the big difference. It's only that 1%, usually that 1%, that are actually willing to sacrifice themselves for something that has no immediate return. And that's the thing with the business. When you start, a lot of people don't realize how difficult it is to start a business and to own a business. It's a lot easier to just working. If you want something that's easy, you just work that 7 to 5 job. So right away, I can tell you that if you're just somebody that's just looking to make money right away, this video is not going to be for you. I'm looking for people that have vision, that are visionaries, that have ambition and can see the long-term potential of an opportunity and a business when they see it. Right, so my background, so back to my story. After 1 year in university, I realized that an office job was not what I wanted. I couldn't picture myself in an office job, and that's usually what you get after university. You do get a lot of money after, depending on the course that you choose, you can make a lot of money, but I never pictured myself as working for anyone. I always imagined myself as being my own boss. And that's what an entrepreneur is. You're never satisfied with working. You always want to make money. You want to be the boss. So, after 1 year in university, I dropped out and I bought my first project car. I didn't know anything about cars back then. It was missing a floor. I paid $650 for it. Of course, when I brought that home, people looked at me and they said I was crazy. After that, and that's when I opened Old Crow's Classic Cars. Again, I didn't know anything about cars, and people said, "What the hell? What the hell are you doing? Just go to a regular job, or go to college and get a mechanic's license." But again, I told them I never wanted. I don't want to be a mechanic. I want to own a mechanic shop, and that's the big difference. And that's why That's why I said that life is more fair than you think. For the next few years after that, I spent everything I had. I worked in construction. All the money I got, I put it into the business. I bought tools and more tools. I bought materials, and I spent a lot of time learning how to fix cars, learning about engines, to the point where today I know everything about a classic car, and I've done all kinds of work to a classic car. I've completely mastered it, probably more than anybody else. But that takes years of determination. I didn't even go out for coffee. I didn't even go out for beer. I never, ever bought something for myself. Everything I bought, everything I purchased was an investment. I never actually used money. I invested money. And finally today, a few years later, Old Crow's Classic Cars has been my main source of income. Not a lot, but I'm happy with it. I've come to realize that money is not the most important thing. If you don't use it, it's kind of useless. But there are things that are worth much more than money, and you have to be patient. I've come to realize that. You have to be patient. You need patience in order to get to the top, in order to get to where you want. So today I own the two big trucks, so it's a starting trucking company. And I own a big parcel of land, not up north. It's actually GTA, which is in one of the most expensive real estate markets on the planet. And I live a rich man's life, you could say. So with the land, what happens is my business today is in a transition point. So years ago when I first started, it was just me. I would do everything. I would weld, because that was the only business I had, and even it was still difficult doing all that stuff on your own. There's so much more to business than what most people realize. Everybody's got good ideas, but only probably 1%, like I said, people is actually willing to pursue them. Now, when you own a business, there are oftentimes you don't make money. If you don't find a client, you have to fill out paperwork, you have to look for materials. If you're sick, the business stops. If you're away, the business stops. If you've got to visit someone, the business stops. You got to pick somebody up. If the business doesn't get clients, then you don't get clients. Whereas if you're working a regular job, you're just going in 7 to 5, your money's going to be there at the end of the week. With business, there's a lot more risk and a lot more things, a lot more skills that are required. Most workers, they don't have those skills, or they're not willing to have those skills. But finally today I'm at a transition point where I can no longer, it's time for me to take the next step. I can no longer manage 2 trucks, a classic car restoration business, and a construction company on my own. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people that are willing to see the potential in those businesses, that are realizing the potential of a trucking business and a real estate business, construction business, and are willing to sacrifice and pursue that. There's an old saying that says, you give a man food, he won't go hungry for a day. You teach him how to plant, he'll have food for a lifetime. And I'd like to change that to a different perspective, where you give a man money, he'll be able to use money. You give a man a profession, he'll be able to make money. And I really believe in that. Today, I believe that a profession is worth more than a lot of money. Now, the reason my business is in a transition point is today I've got enough money. I've used up a lot of... When I first bought the land, after years of working through construction and through Old Crow's Classic Cars, my own business, I saved up all that money and I bought my own property. So I used all that money down to the last dime, down to the last cent. I didn't have a cent left in my pocket. I didn't have a dollar to my name. And I used that to buy the land. And that's another thing that people don't realize. Business, it often involves a lot more appearance. There's a lot of appearances in business. So a lot of people would think that I'm rich because I'm in my 20s and I own this big piece of land in the center of the real estate, in the center of the heat of the real estate market. But I was actually broke. I had no money whatsoever. I couldn't even buy a coffee. I did have a lot of help, and I have to certainly thank and acknowledge those people that helped me, especially my family, mainly my family, that helped me through these times until I was finally able to start making some more money again after I bought the land. But a lot of people would look at my cars, my trucks, and you think that this guy is rich. But I actually, in many ways, I am rich, or I was rich, but I actually didn't have any money whatsoever. I had a lot of assets. That's what, for those of you that don't know, that's what assets are. They're investments, right? But you don't actually, there's a difference between investments, assets, and money. You can have a lot of assets and not